When I heard God speak to me, my life changed completely because there was a God that I knew cared for me, loved me, and was a personal relationship. And that personal relationship of care and concern, trying to meet 1,000 things that happen to all of us, has been very, very real in so many ways. Joe and I are going to be celebrating our 45th wedding anniversary in just about a month or so now. Both of us were formerly married. I had 4 girls and she had 3. So somebody asked me how I would describe my life now. It has been basically for the last 40 some odd years of raising 7 daughters. And the fun of that and then the tragedy having lost 2 of those daughters along the way. I don't think we could have gotten where we are today with happiness that we have with our 5 remaining daughters without God being very, very present. And God does such wonderful things. When I first got my I don't want to live with you anymore papers, I walked home to an empty house one day after work, and my former wife had taken off with the girls and didn't know where she was or anything about it. And really, I knew the marriage was a little bit rocky, but I had no idea that the door was going to close, and it did. So I was faced out in kind of society, family lost for all intents and purposes, and I got into a very serious search. God sent my way some very, very wonderful, loving persons that got a hold of me. And one gal in particular who married a very good friend of mine was called the Winnetka Bible Church up in Winnetka, Illinois. And she kept on working with me. I'd go over there, and she and her husband, and we'd get into a talk using the Bible. And about the 3rd or 4th time this week or so in doing this, I was on my way back to where I'd been living that week. And this beautiful, peaceful feeling came all over me. And in the driving, I had to pull the car over. And I could literally feel this voice saying, I am your God, I am alive, my promises are worth totally living for, and I want you to know that my love will accompany you along your way, wording to that effect. And I had to share it with everybody. I was staying with the youth pastor of my Methodist church at that time, and I had to wake them up when I walked in the house to tell them what happened. That cut short my boarding there with him. I had to go find another place after that. But Joe and I met. She also went through a divorce situation at an affair up on the North Shore of Chicago. There were 30 ladies up there that put a party on once a month, and they'd invite 30 guys. Now, what happened with mixed marriages there, when that happened, the guys went downtown into Chicago and the ladies stayed out in the suburbs. So I was very late in leaving. I worked for the Tribune, and we had a deadline every Friday night. And I almost didn't go to that party, but I did. And as I walked into it was a very large size house, and there was a family room. I stood and looked at everybody there, and I spotted this beautiful brunette way over by the window. 6 months later, we were married. With some fear and trembling, but knowing that God was with us, it worked. Watching the process of this and joining those 2 families together and trying to make an entity out of them was really a challenge in many, many respects. Those girls are in their 60s now, or beginning to, very, very close to that. And I can't just picture where that 40 some odd years has gone. And I'm so pleased to be able to sit here and yander on for a little bit to tell you that God has been very much a part of our lives through thick and thin with those 7 wonderful girls. And I could fill a couple books with stories there, but you've had enough of me. And I would praise you and thank you and ask that if there's some uncertainty in your life, just turn it to God, and God's there to answer you because you are His lovely person. Thank you. I am Jim Roberts, and that is how faith works for me.